What happens when one question overshadows three of Hollywood's biggest stars? That's exactly what went down in a recent interview with After the Hunt actors Ayo Edebiri, Julia Roberts, and Andrew Garfield. What should have been a routine press stop for the film turned into a viral storm, all because of the way a reporter framed one question. Instead of headlines about the movie, the entire conversation shifted to accusations of bias, debates about free speech, and a wave of online outrage. And at the center of it all, a single moment that left fans divided. Was it just an awkward mistake or something far more revealing? The clip that set everything off came from an Arts Life TV interview on September 5th. Sitting side by side were Ayo Edebiri, Julia Roberts, and Andrew Garfield promoting their upcoming film, After the Hunt. Things started off smoothly, until Italian journalist Federica Polidoro asked a question that immediately raised eyebrows. She turned to Roberts and Garfield and asked, "Now that the Nausider Nissar Me Too era and the Black Lives Matter movement are done, what do we have to expect in Hollywood? What did we lose with the politically correct era? Notice what's missing." She directed the question only to Julia and Andrew, leaving Edebiri completely out of it. Even though she was sitting right there, the moment didn't go unnoticed. Ayo, calm but sharp, cut in almost instantly. With a raised brow, she said, "Yeah, I know that that's not for me, and I don't know if it's purposeful that it's not for me, but I just am curious." It was a subtle but powerful response, and in that instant, the interview shifted from a promotional chat to a viral talking point that would explode across social media. What made this moment stand out wasn't just the question, it was how Ayo Edebiri handled it. Instead of ignoring the slight, she leaned in with a response that was both graceful and impossible to brush off. She pointed out that maybe the question wasn't meant for her, but then delivered a thoughtful answer anyway. Ayo reminded everyone that movements like #MeToo and Black Lives Matter aren't done at all. She explained that while the hashtags might not dominate headlines the way they once did, the work is still very much alive, being carried forward by activists, organizers, and everyday people who refuse to let those issues fade into the background. Julia Roberts backed her up immediately, adding, "It's not done," and Edebiri repeated the point with conviction that the fight for accountability and representation is ongoing, and pretending it's finished is simply not the reality. The way she phrased it, calm, collected, but firm, struck a chord online. Fans praised her for speaking truth in a room where she wasn't even being asked. To many, it felt like she had just exposed the deeper problem in real time: whose voices get centered and whose are left on the sidelines. And while Ayo's words earned her respect, the attention quickly shifted to the person asking the questions. The interview clip hit social media almost instantly, and fans zeroed in on one thing: why was Ayo left out of that question? On X and TikTok, viewers accused the reporter of ignoring the one black actress in the room during a conversation about #MeToo and BLM. Some saw it as a careless mistake. Others called it a telling example of bias in plain sight. Either way, the internet didn't hold back, and the debate only got louder as the video spread. Facing mounting criticism, Federica Polidoro broke her silence on Instagram. She said the backlash had crossed into personal insults and attacks, calling it unfair and even cyberbullying. Polidoro defended her work, insisting the interview included everyone's responses in full, and that the question was never meant to exclude Ayo. She argued that journalists have a duty to ask uncomfortable questions, and censoring them threatens free speech. But instead of calming things down, her statement fueled more debate, with some seeing it as deflection rather than accountability. Polidoro framed the controversy as a battle over journalism itself, the right to ask tough questions, even if they land awkwardly. Critics, however, argued the real issue wasn't the question, but who it was directed at. To many viewers, excluding Ayo in that moment reinforced the very power imbalance the movements were fighting against. Was it a slip or a blind spot? That's where the conversation split. This clash between intent and impact turned the interview into more than a viral clip. It became a debate about bias, accountability, and whose voices get heard in Hollywood. This moment isn't just about one awkward question. It highlights Hollywood's ongoing struggles with representation and inclusion. Fans saw it as a reminder that #MeToo and #BLM are still very much alive, and that ignoring voices like Ayo's can have real consequences. The debate shows how even small missteps in interviews can spark big conversations about who gets to speak and who gets sidelined, and why these discussions matter long after the cameras stop rolling. With After the Hunt hitting theaters on October 17th, all eyes are on how this controversy might shape coverage and public perception. Fans are still debating whether Polidoro handled the situation fairly or if she became the latest target of online outrage. One thing is clear, this viral moment sparked a bigger conversation about bias, journalism, and Hollywood's responsibility to include every voice. And while the debate rages online, the film itself will soon test whether the stars' performances can rise above the drama.